Good morning, sir.
Morning, Larry.
How's it going today?
Good, thanks.
Just the two of us this morning? Now here comes a couple more. Good morning, Ben Herring. All right, guys. Eric is in the office today, so I'm jumping on to kind of host the call and stuff here. I have a couple of things on my list, but is there anything pressing that you guys need to cover to start things off?
Larry, what do you know about Fast, a track that's coming up this month?
I know that I'm signed up for it.
I am also.
So that way I can educate other people on it, but that's about all I know. I know that they've been asking myself and some of the other attractors for video content and like, what do you do? And so from the sound of it, it will be, similar to how FastCap gets you up and running on production. This will get somebody up and running on the attraction side of things, which I think is huge, right? Because like it's hard, like I can't duplicate what I do to anybody else, right? Because it's all here. Now I'm working on a couple of things to kind of duplicate myself, but it's a process and and it takes some time and stuff there. So that's about as much as I know right this second. I'm hoping, like, look, anything that we can expand our knowledge base, pick up some tools and nuggets on how we can add more value and stuff to agents, I think is a great thing. So I'm super excited to jump on there. Good morning, ladies. So Frank had just asked what I know about Fast Track, which is coming out. Is it later this month, Frank?
Yeah, I believe the middle of the month it starts.
Middle of the month that starts. Fast Track is a new series that is coming out by EXP. Similar to Fast Cap, how it gets people up and into production, holds them accountable and stuff to do that, and it's getting huge results on the production side. Fast Attract is the same thing geared towards attraction. So they've been asking myself and other leaders and stuff here within EXP that have large groups about, what they're doing, how they're doing it, and then they're putting in systematic ways for you guys to follow. So I am signed up for it, but I don't know much more information about that, which is why I'm taking it. So that way I can kind of guide people that are interested in growing groups and teams. And I can tell you, like, I would lean into this. Jay Kinder. So here's the thing. I'll share some of my personal numbers and stuff with you guys. I did so I've been here since 2017. 2007, I probably could, but I don't have the numbers from 2017 to 2020. This is why I think all of us should be involved with agent attraction, though, is because since 2020, right? So we're talking about a 5-year span. It took me 3 years to kind of build up to that. But since 2020, like, just like unmute your mic or put in the chat box, what do you think a good amount of, what would you be happy with in revenue share? In a 5-year period, if you look back, you were like, holy shit, like that was pretty amazing. What's a good number? Either unmute your mic or put it in the chat box there. Ben says 1 million. Yeah, that'd be a hell of a number. $20,000 a month. All right, so $20,000 a month would be what, 240 a year, which would be a little over $1 million. Anybody else? So here's the thing. You don't have to know. Just what do you think? Like, what would you be happy with, right? Like you have your daughter underneath you, right? So you're already making revenue share, right? With only your, and I think you have a couple of people underneath you, right? So if they both capped out, how many people do you have underneath you, Helen?
3 so far.
So if 3 people capped out every single year, right? Let's average out $3,000 an agent. So that'd be an extra $9,000 a year. We'd look back and be like, oh, damn, we made almost $50,000, right? So there's no right or wrong answer. Just what would you think? What would you be like? Would that be enough for you? Right? Or if you were like, well, damn, I would like to have 100 or 150, like it doesn't matter. What I can tell you is it took from 2017 to 2020 to start building the system. Since 2020, me personally, not including everybody else in our organization, like I've collected over $1.4 million in revenue share and stock. Like it's been life-changing. I could have never imagined that, right? It's the most fun that I've ever had in real estate. I get to work with only people that I like, right? Like, yeah, like some of you guys have known, like there's some people that I'll call you and say, look, I'm not talking to this person anymore, right? Like they're a jerk, like they're taking my time, they're not doing anything, like they're not adding anything to the system, they're just pulling away from me, right? So I only get to work with the people that I want to work with at this point in time. That is why I think that you guys should lean into this, because it will change your life. And it's a compound effect. Here's the thing. The big difference for me is my wife went into full-time production to make sure that our bills were paid, and I focused on this. Not everybody has that. So you have to create a plan that works for you, right? If this is your sole focus, well, I can tell you that Eric Bengal in a year and a half has went from 0 agents to over 90 agents, 90 producing agents, because we're driving business and stuff to them. And you guys are all associated, and this is where co-sponsorship and stuff will come in that I'll talk about here in a little bit. But that has equated to, I would say on the low side, $4,000 or $5,000 a month passively to over $10,000 a month, right? And so it varies based on, people cap out and then you don't see it. But literally, this is for, and a lot of those agents that are underneath Eric are like, damn, this has changed my life, because before, like, I had 0 assets, right? Now I have this, right? So production is increasing. Now they're gaining equity and ownership. And so the reason that I do this is because I have not seen a better platform out there to help agents increase production, decrease costs, and build wealth. And so that's why I do this every single day. And when agents don't see it, I'm like, oh my gosh, like, how did I not explain this correctly, right? Like all of these different pieces and stuff like that. I was like, I must have missed the mark somewhere. But there's a lot to it. So this is why I think that you guys should be leaning into this and working on it. The faster track is a way to work on it if this hasn't been your background. And some agents will say, oh, well, I'm not a recruiter. Well, like, don't be a recruiter. Like, figure out who you want to work with, and let's figure out how to add value. And so there's somebody.
Larry, end with 0 risk. You don't need an office. You don't have to pay utilities. You don't have to pay workman's comp.
This is coming from somebody. How long did you own a Remax franchise for?
12 years.
For 12 years. How many agents do you think you recruited in that 12-year period, Frank?
Probably maybe about 100.
100. So think about this.
No, more than that, probably close to 200.
Okay. So I've attracted 44 agents that has grown to over 600 at this point in time, right? Because now, once we feed them into the system, now we can, they're growing because they have ownership and they have this, and not everybody's going to attract. Out of 600 agents in our group, right, we have 9 of us here on this call, right? There's going to be a very low percentage. Lean into the people that want to do this. Lean into production and guide them in the right direction for those that don't want to do this.
But Larry, for everybody on this call, they've all had somebody say, hey, could I come work for you? Or what are you doing? So you've already got people that want to join you. You just kind of need to step it up just a slight bit because you don't have to be a recruiter. You're already attracting people.
This is true. Like you guys all have conversations and stuff with people. This is where it's aligning, like, how do we have more conversations with people? Think about, you know, when you're going to agent events, networking events, trainings, you know, you go to NAR, you go to our, you know, 5-star is a big one for our group because we have 100 agents there because we're all so heavily vested and stuff on that. But it's about talking to people and gathering their information. Once you gather their information, then it's the easy part to follow up and say, well, Helen, look, like, you know, I don't know if you're interested in this or not, but, you know, I joined this group, I don't know, probably about 10 years ago. And when I had moved to Florida, I had 0 REOs. And now I'm sitting at, how many REOs have you received down there, Helen, between you and Lindsay?
Wow. We've had a lot. We're kind of consistently running like around an average of 30.
An average of 30.
And
right?
Probably half of, maybe a little more than half of that has been through my connections with ADR and Peak Harbor. And then I, you know, brought all the ones I had.
Yeah.
I kept those relationships from when I was in Maryland.
Yeah.
But
tell that story, Helen. Does that interest you? Does that interest you at all?
Yeah.
When they say yes, that's when, so I've created, let me stop, let me share this. So that's where I've created, and I've asked a lot of you guys to do that. That's where I created this input form. Oh my gosh, let me introduce you to the group that got me involved with this. Don't talk about EXP. We're solving a problem. We've identified a problem. Now we're solving a problem, right? And so this, I'll make sure that you guys have, actually, I'll put this in the chat box right now. So you can send any agent to this website. And here's the thing, if you're on the phone with them, you can fill this out for them, right? Because what's going to happen, it has their basic info, or you can send it to them. If you send it to them, you're going to have to follow up with them. Most of the time, they're not going to fill it out right away. They're going to forget, they got family, they got this, they got that, right? So you can either fill it out, right? Basic information, right? Do you have REO experience? You know, if yes, then it goes to the experienced REO agent path where I'm like, okay, who are you working with? This. If they say no, drops down to section 6 here. Okay, well, let's talk about where you are doing business and stuff like that right now. And then if you say, you know, no, but I want to learn, then it goes to section 5 where, okay, well, have you done probate? Have you done short sales? Right? So now it's pre-qualifying them for me. And then it comes here to section 7, like, okay, what do you want to build in the future, right? Do you want to build a team, stay solo? Because I know if Helen can keep 30 assets, it's much easier for her to build buyer's agents, open house agents, etc. Right? Are you interested in building multiple streams of income through ownership and other business opportunities? Right? This could be title and escrow. This could be mortgage. This could be a number of things that we have resources to. And then it asks who referred you here, right? Oh, Helen Marks. Oh, hey, Frank Regina and stuff here, right? So here's the thing. After it does that, then it's going to, maybe I can see it, maybe not. After that, it says, hey, thanks for completing this REO Alliance form. Now let's book your custom strategy call with Larry, right? And it literally sends them straight to my calendar link. And so this, I built this out to make the system more duplicatable right now. So that is what I've been working on that for a couple of weeks now, and I'm pretty happy with where that's at. Now here's the thing, once they enter that information, the other thing, I've been geeking out on AI big time right now. And so that's where, if you guys go to ChatGPT, you guys can even have a free version of it. You can't build a GPT, like custom GPTs. But if you go to GPTs here, over on the left-hand side of any version of ChatGPT, type in Larry MF White, and mine's going to come up here, right? And now you can start a chat, and literally I can take information. Let's do Ty Robinson. So now I can take notes from this person, and what I've been doing is training this GPT. It's not perfect yet, right? But you can say, I have been talking to Ty about joining forces. Here are her notes. And then you could say, how would Larry add value to her, or what would he say? Now I'm testing this. This may not work, right? Because I've done this before. Like, it's a testing phase where every time I test it and see what it does or doesn't do, then I go back and make corrections and stuff like that. If I were speaking with Ty directly, Ty, I see you're in real estate. So it picked up because she really wants to get into REO, right? So it picked up here, plug her into the REO plus institutional inventory, structure and scale her social. So now it creates kind of this short custom business plan for her. And then it comes in with the final pitch and stuff as well. Right. So when people are like, well, Larry, like, I haven't done what you've done or this or that, like, that's why I'm creating this. So it's duplicatable at this point in time. I think that down the road, right, as you guys grow your groups and teams, you guys should have something similar. Like, this can respond to like chat bots, like if you have a website or something like that. There's so much that we can do on the GPT side of things. One of the other things that I'm planning on using that for is every agent that comes in to our group, I'm going to recommend that they take that input form. When they do that, I'm going to create them a custom 90-day business plan for starting at EXP. Okay, look, you got to get on to FastCap. Look, we got to get you onboarded first. Have you taken the Tuesday, Thursday training? Right? Like, it's going to be a step-by-step process that they can kind of go through to get acclimated more. And so this is on the attraction side, but this can all be done on the business side of things as well. So what I'm doing every single day is feeding this more info, right? The other part that I want to make sure that we highlight is the co-sponsorship, which I'm working with a lot of you guys. I was on the phone with Ben this morning. This is one of the tools that I'm most excited about with EXP. All of you guys are leaders. And so look, we have Michael Sherrard's, right? YouTube sensations. We have the Joshua Smiths that have coaching programs. We have the Josh Sloanleys. We have the Jay Kinders. Those are all like people that somebody might be like, oh, well, you know, I was looking at Mike Sherrard, and if I get into, you know, if I do business with him, he gives me his free platform. This is where, oh my gosh, we can do that too, right? Like, what if you had the best of both worlds, Frank? What if I could get you tapped into all of these REO resources, right? Now, here's the thing. In order to get all of them, you need to be the primary sponsor. He needs to be the co-sponsor, because this co-sponsor, the upline, doesn't participate. So this is why I've stacked all of these asset management companies. So when you're under one of them, you're underneath all of them type thing, right? But like with Ben, now we're expanding his tools and resources, because he's attracting quite a few agents and stuff there in Atlanta, across the country, right? We have one coming in Oklahoma, one in California type thing. And I was like, man, I went to him and I was like, hey, before you do your next one, I think that you could leverage some other people's tools and resources. So we're co-sponsoring with Joshua Smith, who specializes on scaling groups and teams. His team was ranked in the top 1% of the country, right? They did 900 plus deals. He built out a training platform just for team leaders to scale. So this is where now all of the weight's not just on Ben, not just on Larry, not just on Eric's shoulders. Now it spreads the love, and now they have 2 separate support groups, and you don't lose revenue share, right? You don't, like, I don't see the downside in this, right? That agent moves from your first level to your second level, which you get paid more on, right? You get the qualifying agent sponsorship, and now the co-sponsor goes over to that side, and they get to share in the growth of that agent as well. Guys, it is a no-brainer for me that we should be using this more. Now, this is where I need you guys to lean into me, right? Because we have onboarding systems, we have this. I know a lot of these different players. And if you're like, hey, Larry, I have a new agent coming on, it could be like, Helen, let's say you had somebody coming on in Hawaii, right? And you're not in Hawaii. Yes, we can drive some business, but we want them to have more local support. I'm going to be like, Helen, let's co-sponsor with Dylan. He's a mega team out there, right? He has 200, he's doing local events. He's doing this and that. Right now, Dylan's going to accept him into his family and make it sound like he's local. But as Dylan helps them grow, now you're going to grow as well. So, I think, yeah, so I think there's a lot of different ways that we can leverage this. This is what I work on every single day. So lean into me, right? Just call me and say, hey, Larry, this is the scenario. What should we do? I'm going to make sure that we don't leave money on the table and that it is the best situation for the agent. I will never suggest something where you guys lose money at the end of the day. That doesn't make any logical sense. But if you guys can get access to Joshua Smith and all of his coaching and stuff like that, like, which other people pay tens of thousands of dollars a year for, you can get it for free by co-sponsoring. Hell, let's do it. That's a great deal. You don't lose any money. Ben says Joshua Smith versus Faster Track. Those are 2 separate things. Like Joshua Smith, I still recommend for the agent Bridget that we talked about. So that way you can get access to his systems. That's about scaling your business, being a better team leader, and building your systems and stuff better. Faster Track is going to teach you how to attract agents, give you more ideas on attraction. So those are 2 separate, and I would say both. Like I think that you should exercise both of those. Faster Track is being taught by some of the best attractors in the company, and it's free. Joshua Smith, by the co-sponsorship, we could do for free. So I would recommend that we do both of them. Does that answer your question, Ben?
Sure. Yeah, I just didn't know if I wouldn't think that they would diverge necessarily, but I could see where parallel tracks may do this kind of thing, and and it may get a little out of whack. But if not, I mean, I'm open to both. I just didn't want to get on a duplicate path,
Faster Track is hosted by EXP. That's free and open to everybody. I think that we should all take it and pull some nuggets from it. Now, this is what I was telling Ben this morning. Like, once we co-sponsor, like, some of you guys are in Darren Cottrell's downline. But then we brought on Brian Sindel from BSI Asset Management, and then we brought in Luis Amaya from PIMCO, right? So not all of you guys are aligned underneath those. This is where we can make you a preferred agent and make sure everybody has a vested interest in you and your agent's growth. And so you don't need to send all 10 people, like let's say you recruit 10 agents, don't send them all to Joshua Smith. Like, man, let's do one to Joshua Smith. Let's do one to Luis Amaya. Let's do one to Brian Sindel. But again, if you guys come to me, I will help. I will give you options. You make choices. It doesn't matter to me what you choose, but this is what I've been working on. How do we strategically align this so you guys have the most resources? So now you can attract more people. If you guys have Joshua Smith's program, imagine now if you could offer that to your team members that come on and go through his new training program. You know, is it needed? No, we have FastCap and this and that. But you might really love it. And again, there's Jay Kinder, that's a ClickFunnels master, right? There's all of these other people. I'm going to have to start having these folks on our Friday wealth building mastermind calls and stuff as well, to kind of tell you their value proposition. Josh Lonely is like cousins to us, right? He's underneath like Bob Mangold and stuff like that, which we are as well, but side. So now we're starting to co-sponsor because he does a lot with lead generation and stuff like that. That might help you guys as team leaders, right? To have more leads coming in to feed your teams and stuff like that. I'm giving you guys a lot of just ideas and stuff right now, but this is where, again, if you just call me, like I will be like, oh, this, right? David Russell's a prime example. He's like, Larry, I got this person. Okay, great. Let's put that person underneath Harmon and then make you the co-sponsor, right? Like even like with David as a co-sponsor, he doesn't lose money. So that's like, these are the things that I'm strategizing and working on and here to help you guys work through on our side, because I know it's a lot. But I'm super pumped with all of the improvements and advancements and stuff that we have going. So I do have a hard stop in 2 minutes. So now that I threw all of that stuff at you, any quick questions or anything that I can answer?
I have someone that I think you're talking to later this week. She I don't know her. She reached out to me through Facebook and she's already spoken to Eric. So I'm assuming I didn't think about the form. So I didn't send that to her, but maybe Eric did, or you might have it.
So the form literally just got completed last week. So
Okay.
So again, this is like a moving forward. I had to like draw a line in the sand, like I can't change it and stuff, but that will make my systems more duplicatable. What's her name?
Bridget.
Yeah, I talked to her.
I think on the 4th or something. Maybe the 4th, she said.
On Wednesday morning. Yep.
Oh, you will this week, right?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, she talked to Eric last week, so.
Yep, I see that. And then we'll do the rest, right? Like, and then I'll follow up and say, Helen, can you reach out to this person and ask this question or do this or do that, right? Like, I'll get you guys back involved and I'll keep you, like, once they're in my system and they're tagged as you, right? Like they're tagged as you indefinitely. So, you know, it doesn't matter if it's, I have a couple of people with Ed Kowalski that I've been talking to for 2 years and he hasn't, but he was the one that made the introduction and stuff like that. So, you know, we're going to add him on as a co-sponsor and stuff like that. So this is where we just we got to feed the beast. And you know, we will help you guys grow this, because as you get to 10, right now, Eric's at 100. If all of you guys get to 10, right now, Eric's at 140. And then this gives us more opportunities, like to buy the rink system, right? Which was $6,000 up front for the year, right? And now, like, the more that we're making off of this, the more that we can invest back in and solve more tools and solve more problems and stuff for agents. So lean into it, guys. Try it, right? Like I can tell you, if you never talk to an agent about partnering or joining, I don't think it needs to be about EXP. I think it's this group and all of the resources. I really truly feel that we have an answer to whatever the agent is looking for. It's how we position that and stuff there. And so lean into it and like fail forward. You know, figure out what to say, not to say. And I think that's what the Faster Track program will do. But if you guys lean into this, like, you know, 1 year it will be cute, 2 years, it's like, oh damn, that's like real money. 3 years, like, oh my gosh, right? And then it just starts this compound effect. So it takes some time. But your guys' business to get where you guys are at right now took some time as well. People are like, oh, it's easy for Marvette. She's been in the business for 17 years and did, right? Like they didn't see the struggles that she had to go through in the beginning and how she had to learn how to build rapport and relationship and this and this and this, right? They just see the tip of the iceberg, not everything that went into it, right? And so lean into this and I promise you it will change your life and you guys can get to where I'm at, to where Eric's at faster because you guys have more tools and resources that have already been created. You guys don't have to start from scratch. You guys don't have to build your group, right? You can already just tap into that. So I do have to run. I'm a couple of minutes late here. So call, text, email me if you guys need anything, and I will talk to you soon. Bye, guys.